This video asks us to solve the equation 2x squared minus 3x equals 8 and give your answers correct to 2 places of decimals. I apologize for the typo that I've just seen, but I'm going to keep going. Okay. So the fact that it asks you to give answers correct to 2 places of decimals, that's a sure clue that we're going to have to use our calculators at some point in this question. So you can get your calculators out if you're watching this. Right, we start off with the question 2x squared minus 3x equals 8. And as we've talked about before, every time we meet one of these quadratic equations with an x squared, your best bet is to move everything over to the left-hand side of the equal sign before you begin. So that's going to be 2x squared minus 3x minus 8 equals 0. Okay. Now when you've got it this far, you can identify your a, b, and c. A is 2, b is negative 3, and c is negative 8. The formula, which I'd encourage you to write out every single time you use it, x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Again, certainly you have to know this equation, and the simplest way to learn it is to write it out every time you use it. Okay, so let's fill that in, and it's going to be x is equal to minus negative 3, and this is why when b is a negative sign, this is why parentheses are so important. You'll get away without them if b is positive, but if b is negative, you absolutely need them. So it's going to be negative 3 squared, and then one other thing, the negative sign goes inside the parentheses here. Okay? That negative sign that comes from the formula, that stays outside. But b is negative 3, so the whole of negative 3 has to be in parentheses. So we're at b squared, that's negative 3 squared minus 4 times a is 2 times c is negative 8. And this is going to all be over 2 times 2. Well, that's going to give you minus 3 is plus 3, or just 3, plus or minus the square root, negative 3 squared. If you do it in your calculator, remember and put minus inside parentheses. It's going to give you 9. Now, here, negative 4 by 2 is negative 8, and negative 8 by negative 8 is positive 64. All over 2 times 2 is 4. And that gives you x is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root. 9 plus 64 is 73 over 4. Now we don't know what the square root of 73 is. It's not a perfect square. So at this point you can split your problem up into 2 different problems. You can go x is equal to 3 plus the square root of 73 divided by 4. Or x is equal to 3 minus the square root of 73 divided by 4. Now, that line there, x equals 3 plus root 73 over 4, and x equals 3 minus root 73 over 4, those are the correct answers. Okay, those are precisely the correct answers. Exact, precise, right answers. Right solutions. Okay. But the thing is that we were asked to give them correct 2 decimal places. And we can't do that without a calculator. So let's bring up our calculator. And for the top one here, we want 3 plus root 73 over 4. Now it's a fraction, so and there's addition on the top line here. There's addition on the bottom, on the top line in this one. Let's do the first one, but because there's addition on the line, we need to put the top line in parentheses. So it's going to be 3 plus the square root, so that's how we bring up the square root of 73. Now, close, the first parentheses are for closing parentheses after the square root. If you have a more modern calculator, you may not need to do that. But you certainly need to close the parentheses that opened just before the 3. Okay, and then divide that by 4. We don't need parentheses around the 4 because it's the only thing on the bottom line. If we do that, we get 2.8860000936. So 2.886. Let's go back to orange. 2.886. Now, that correct to 2 decimal places, which is what we were asked. Partition it off after the second decimal place. Since there's a 6 here, okay, that 6 is greater than 5, greater than or equal to 5, and if this line, if this number after the line, if this digit after the line is greater than or equal to 5, this one is going to be pushed up. Okay, so our final answer here is 2.89. 2.89 is the first solution, correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, now we're going to do the second one, x equals 3 minus root 73 over 4, and it's going to be very similar. 3 minus, and remember this is all in parentheses, square root of 73. Close those first parentheses, then close the larger parentheses, divided by 4. We get negative 1.386000. We want to write it correct at 2 decimal places, so that means we need the first 3 decimal places. So negative 1.386. Negative 1.386. Okay, let's cut it off after the second one. Okay, and since this number here is again greater than or equal to 5, it pushes this one up. Okay, so it becomes negative 1.39. Okay, so these are our solutions correct to 2 places of decimals. So it takes a little bit more work, but it's not really all that difficult. I guess one of the places we have to be really careful is figuring out what the sign should be. Take care with evaluating or working out b squared minus 4ac. Pay particular attention to that negative sign there. That's very important because a lot of people don't use that properly, and then that leads to different problems further on. Okay, thanks for watching.